No mai, haere mai, kia ora koutou katoa. Welcome to our afternoon session of adult and community education teaching. And a special welcome today, it's a special treat. We've got some fantastic educators, some award-winning educators, in fact, from the ACE sector. I'd like to start by settling us all with offering a karakia. You can see it on the screen now. Me karakia tātou. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mā kina kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai. E hi aki ana te ata akura, he tio, he huka, he hauhunga, ki he mauri ora. And indeed, it is a beautiful day here in Ōtautahi, and hopefully it is where you are. As I said, today's session is our seventh session for the year, and it's titled Best Practice from Effective Educators. And just in case you're new and don't know anything about adult and community education Aotearoa, here's a little bit about it. Look on the website. I'm just going quickly through that. There's an e-news that comes out monthly, a quarterly newsletter, hui whono, and a national conference. And at the national conference, the Educator of the Year awards are given, which the three guests today have won. And then we also have a wonderful Festival of Adult Learning, or as it's now known as Adult Learners Week in September, which is coming up soon. So I know many of you already have plans for that. Just in case you're wondering, who am I? I'm the woman in the middle with the green dress on. So I'm the Adult and Community Education Aotearoa Teaching Standards Advisor. There's a little bit about my background there, and I have the pleasure and privilege of providing some face-to-face workshops and these online workshops as well. And it'll be lovely to know who's here with us this afternoon. So as if you were able to write your name, your role, and your location in the motu in the chat, that would be fantastic. This is one way we can have some whakawhanaungatanga. So lovely to have a chance to whakawhanaungatanga, and hopefully Anne-Marie, Kailash, and Mako, you might recognise some of those names. This is our kaupapa for this afternoon session, just an hour. So we've had our whakawhanaungatanga. We're going to have a good opportunity to welcome our panel. Then there'll be an opportunity for a quick reflection, mainly part-time, mainly questions at the end, because I know you'll want to hear from the panel the most, and a brief evaluation too. So thanks everyone for your patience, because I know you'll be keen to hear from our guest educators today. I know for myself, I always love hearing from other educators and getting a chance to hear what they really do, what their practice is about, what drives them, what makes them so special. And the reason I chose to have a panel today is because I've tried to I have aimed to base each of these sessions on the ACE teaching standards. And today's teaching standard is 2.1. And that's one of the indicators that guides us for thinking about how best to be a good tutor. And this one suggests that we're initiating and taking advantage of opportunities to advance personal, professional knowledge and skills to benefit learners. So it'll be great to hear a little bit from our three guests today about how they do that. So that's all from me for now, because I'm shortly going to hand over to our visitors. And I'm really grateful for their time, because I know they're busy tutors. So I have invited Kailash Devon, and he was the ACE Aotearoa Educator of the Year in 2024, Tangata Tiriti. Also pleased to welcome Mako Jones, and Mako was the ACE Aotearoa Educator of the Year 2024 as well, Tangata Whenua. And finally, from Ōtautahi, Anne-Marie Rose, who was the ACE Aotearoa Educator of the Year 2023 Tangata Tiriti. And just so you know, I have invited the 2025 winners, but unfortunately they weren't available. But I'm really thrilled that these 3 winners are available today to talk to us about their best practice. So I will stop sharing now and we'll be able to hear from our speakers because I have a series of questions. And if you have questions, please pop them in the chat and Viv or I can share them at the end, or there'll be a chance for you to ask more. But I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to what makes these 3 the success that they are, and I certainly know that they are. I've heard their commendations at the award evenings, and they are remarkable educators. Kia ora. So let's move on to our first question. And well, in fact, sorry, no, first opportunity to introduce yourself. So I'll start with Mako, then Anne-Marie, then Kailash. So kia ora, Mako.
Kia ora. I'm Michael Jones and I live in Inglewood. I am an educator, which I teach weaving under the ACE program.
Cool. Thank you, Mako. So then we'll move to you, Anne-Marie.
Kia ora, I'm Anne-Marie. I'm from Ototahi and I work for the Hagley Learning Centre as an adult educator. At the moment with individual workplace learners.
Kia ora, Anne-Marie. And kia ora, Kailash.
Kia ora, my name is Kailash Devan. So I'm based in Auckland and I work for Career Force. So it's an industry training provider. So I look after the health and well-being and mental health and addictions qualifications.
Kia ora, Kailash. Thank you, the 3 of you. So let's go in the same way we just started with, and I'll ask you if you could share in a sentence or 2 what an effective educator means to you in your context. Could you share with us? So, Mako, do you mind starting, please?
No. Usually, the people I meet is how I teach. So I teach drug and alcohol people. I also support that program. Majority of my time is used in community around Taranaki as a whole. And it's usually just been open and willing to have people that want to learn.
Nice, open and willing. Yeah, I love that. That sounds like you totally are. Thank you, Michael. How about for you, Anne-Marie?
Well, I work mostly with people who are employed and they want to improve their literacy and numeracy for various reasons. Some are speakers of other languages and some are in construction trades training. For me, it's about knowing the learner and their context, their learning style, that kind of thing, having a really good relationship with the learner. That's really important to me. And in that role, I need to listen and remember things about them. The other thing is bringing my full self to the sessions. That's me mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and also being able to reflect and learn from the sessions and my role and my mistakes so that I'm continually committed to my own growth and development. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive, Anne-Marie. Thank you. A lot of things there to do. Yeah, thank you. And what about for you, Kailash?
So in my role as an educator in the health and well-being sector, especially around mental health, so to me, an effective educator in the mental health and addiction space, I like to create like a safe and supportive environment where Learners are respected, so they're valued and they're heard of. Their voices are heard of. So mental health education sometimes, involves sensitive and, deeply personal topics. So
Yeah.
effectiveness to me, it means like teaching with empathy, compassion, and also cultural responsiveness practice as well. So, Career Force, my organization's values I embed on my teaching, like kaitiakitanga, so guardianship, kotaitanga, so unity, and also manakitanga, so care into my practice. And I also like to ensure that, learners are heard not only like academically, but they're also supported emotionally as well.
Mm. Yeah, thank you very much. That gives us a great picture of your context and the importance of well-being, and for all of you too. Thank you. All quite different contexts, but a lot of real similarities there. Thank you. So we'll move on to a second question now. And perhaps we'll start in a different order just to mix it up this time. Let's go Emery, then Kailash, then Mako. So Emery, what do you think has been your biggest challenge teaching adults, and how have you worked through it? So this is one that probably a lot of people will be relating to, I suspect. Thanks, Emery.
Yeah, well, I was thought long and hard about this because there's been various challenges, but the one I find currently a big one is for those learners who are not committed to their own learning and growth. Yeah, they just are not ready or willing or whatever. And I need to be able to accept the learner and where they're at and work with them in the place where they're at, and to let go of my expectations of them. Yeah, and also sometimes don't have the capacity to learn for whatever reason. Yeah, and sometimes I need to work to move those learners on because they need to be in another appropriate situation or context or whatever. That learning is not the right time or place for them. Thanks.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds like a quite a challenge, doesn't it? When you know they're not really interested in learning or it's not appropriate for them. I like that you talked about let go of your expectations. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean it's letting go of them or lowering them. um, I seem to have done that a lot over times because I always have high expectations of myself, so then I can project those onto other people as well, and
Right.
sometimes that's not appropriate, and so I use my support systems to help me see how I might be putting pressure or whatever on learners to expect more of them to do more when they're not ready or willing, and it's
Mm.
the support systems I have really help me reflect on that and take a step back and come to accept where they're at.
Sure, thank you. When you say support systems, is that personally or at the
Yeah,
workplace?
professionally, yeah. I mean, my manager is a great support, and colleagues, but also I have personal support, people who
Mm.
support me in my personal life, but they're also educators or know about education, so I can share with them challenges or issues that are happening in my work life.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful. Okay. Yeah, because we want to have high expectations of our learners, don't we? We don't want to ever think that they can't reach them. But then, yeah, there is that letting go, as you say, sometimes when it's not probably, I think you said, wasn't it? Not the right time, not the right place. Yeah. Thank you. All right, let's move on to you, Kailash. What's been your biggest challenge in teaching adults and how have you worked through it?
So the challenge at the moment is like a lot of learners, face personal barriers as well, in terms of financial barriers as well, and literacy, sometimes literacy difficulties and negative experiences of education in the past. and also being triggered sometimes by the course content related to their lived experience as well. These challenges sometimes, affect their confidence and the ability to engage fully in learning. And what I'm finding the biggest challenge as well at the moment is the impact of short staffing across
Mm.
the health sector and also the limited availability of subject matter experts in certain areas. So this can sometimes, create gaps in a learner's learning. So access to specialist knowledge as well. So it also reduces, the time that workplace mentors have to support the training. So yeah, so the one positive is like I work through this by focusing on, maximizing the resources we do have internally and
Yeah,
also trying to build like a strong collaborative relationship with the employers as well to see what
yeah,
we can do in supporting them as well.
yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Kailash. So yeah, that's good to raise the issues of personal barriers there. That
Mhm.
probably a lot of people notice that or have the same challenges within their work context.
Mhm.
Probably there's a little bit, it may not be as much crossover because you're supporting learners to go into directly into the workforce. Is that right?
No, I support learners
Oh,
that are
sorry.
already working.
Oh, no, that's right. They're in the
Yeah.
workforce. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're in the workforce, so we're supporting them to gain their qualification while they're working.
Mm,
Mm. So it's
okay,
similar to it is an apprenticeship model,
right. Okay,
but it's in the mental health and addiction space.
okay. Thanks very much, Kailash. So that might be a little bit different from some other educators who are online this afternoon, but at the same time, the same issues apply. Those barriers and lack of support staff, perhaps lack of
Mm.
people to, who are experts just to give information and help people develop and grow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting about being triggered through their lived experience. I think that
Mm.
applies for all contexts. I think those challenges when our learners come to us and they have, yeah, we don't know how we might trigger them. Yeah. Thank you, Kailash. And finally, thank you, Mako. What about for you? What about challenges for you?
I don't have many challenges,
Oh,
but because I'm a retired person, I don't have a job. So my support is me and my harakeke. So every 8 weeks, I have a class at the Salvation Army for drug and alcohol. And every time I go there, it's always a new group.
right.
And I find them all a challenge because I don't know who they are. So the challenge is for me to get to know them in like 5 minutes. So what I do is encourage them to actually say karakia before we start and do karakia when we finish. Sometimes they don't want to know, so I just say to them, "That's okay. You can sit and talk to me, but you can't go out." Um, oh, something's happened.
Yes, my camera's just decided to break. Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the other challenge I have is at the moment I'm teaching kaumātua and we're doing tukutuku panels. And I find I had 4 men and 2 have decided not to come back. But I still carry on with my classes, and the other 2 men that I do have, kaumātua, they are doing really, really well. And that's, to me, everything is not really a challenge to me. It's what I do and what I love, and it's my passion. So the more passion I put into myself, it actually rubs off on all the people that I have in my class.
That's fantastic. Can you still hear me okay? Yeah.
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 I've got a mixture of people I deal with, schools around the motu, and I have my own little class once a month that I have with ACE. I have my ACE program once a month in my little whare that's situated in New Plymouth. And it's like a marae. And when people come there, usually I text everyone that I would like in my class. That's the only thing that I do that makes me okay, because you can get a lot of different people with different attitudes, and I don't want that in my class. I don't have it.
Wow, there's
And
a lot there. Thank you, Mark.
yeah,
Um,
because a lot of the time is that I also introduce, what you call it, the numbers thing, and also te reo Māori. So I always encourage people to use the kupu that I give them when I'm teaching raranga. So
wow.
I've got a big, my range is quite big. So it's to do with everything, or what I call a Māori worldview.
Kia ora, Mako. There's beautiful. Thank you. There's so much in that. I do apologize. It's distracted as I had some technical challenges with the
Yeah.
playing.
There is another thing that I do, and I in support of Pacifica in Taranaki, and I have done a few programs with them, and one of them was having to. They had an exhibition on in the gallery since November last year, and me and my couple of friends, we sat in the gallery under their mana, under the mana of Pacifica, and we wove cloaks, and that was to show people how a cloak is made from start to finish.
Oh,
And the support we got from Pacifica was great.
that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Mako. That's a
Yes,
lot
awesome.
in there. And yeah, I'm really impressed that all of the Te Ao Māori approaches that you use to encourage the people in your group to stay and how you've worked through it. That's pretty impressive that you text them as well, isn't it, individually? That's quite a
Yes,
commitment. I'm sure some people would be able to do that if they had one or two, but any more than that, it's quite a commitment to be able to text. So, yeah, thank you so much. I love what you've
yes,
said there.
thank
All
you.
right, well, and do ask any questions, anyone, as we carry on this afternoon. So I have a few more questions, and we'll go in the same order if that's okay, and then we'll change it again. So this time, Anne-Marie, thank you to start with. Well, how do you grow? You know, we were talking about professional knowledge and skills as one of the key indicators for the teaching standards. How do you grow your professional knowledge and skills?
Yeah, thanks. Well, obviously attending workshops, courses, seminars, and things like this in person and online. I do like the in-person ones where I can manage to get to them. The other thing for me is support from my colleagues, from my manager, from other personal support people I have in my life, where I can chat and reflect. And I do a lot of reflection on my sessions, and I like to bounce ideas off people, particularly learning from my mistakes as well. I still find making mistakes a challenge, and I do things wrong at times and just not kind of hit the mark correctly. But learning from those is really important, and just exploring options when I'm kind of struggling with a learner or some material or something, and I just feel it's not kind of I'm not doing it quite right somehow, that doesn't fit the needs of the learner or whatever, and just exploring other possibilities or other ways of working with the learner. You know, I love that saying, what is it, when the learner doesn't learn the way we teach, we have to teach them differently. And for me, you know, there's always a wealth of options of different approaches or different ways of tackling things. And I love making resources and using, you know, kinesthetic resources, because that's really important for me as well. So, yeah, just a lot of reflection and support. Yeah.
Oh,
thank
that's
you.
great. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that information. Thank you. Let's move on to you, Kailash. What sort of things do you do, again, for your professional knowledge and skills? Oh, you're on mute, I think. Yeah.
So I love attending you know, workshops and, you know, meeting other educators as well. So ACE and Ako Aotearoa have been really, you know, helpful for me to attend the Hui Fono as well as the ACE conference as well. So also seeking like up-to-date knowledge as well in my field around educating people that are, you know, wanting a career in health and well-being. And also, it is vital for me to like stay up to date, you know, with the current research which is out there. So I always try and, you know, book in sessions to update my knowledge. And networking, which again, ACE has been really helpful in that. And engaging with others and engaging with industry is very important in terms of, you know, up-to-date knowledge that we can provide to the industries that we are supporting as well.
For sure.
And yeah.
Great. Do you get the bonus prize for mentioning ACE conference? No, seriously, but that's great to hear too. So lots of different ways, again, for upskilling in your professional development.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kailash. What about for you, Michael?
I have a group of friends who are weavers like I am, and I usually go to them, and I really enjoy going to Hui Fono because it's a place where it's all buzzing, everyone's talking about different things, and now and again you'll hear someone talking and you go, oh, that'll be good, you know, and go and talk to them afterwards.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of support around, and I have it with my husband as well, because he makes all my implements that I have to use or have to give out to the people that I'm teaching. So and my daughters they are bone carvers, so they don't like weaving. So, and there's a reason for that. So, and it's my fault, they reckon. But
Oh,
but with my weaving friends, and yeah, I've got quite a few of them, and I can always go to them for support. I used
fine.
to have queer here,
Yes.
and but they've all passed away now. So I'm
Oh,
having to rely on my friends, and we rely
yeah,
on each other.
yeah, yeah. And that's lovely, isn't it? Lovely to have a group of supportive friends, and
Yeah.
particularly, you know, who are interested in the same field as you. Yeah, there's nothing
Mm.
like that. So that's lovely. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas. Good to hear that Hui Fono was again mentioned too. So thank you for that. So great ideas and great sharing what's made you so successful.
Yeah.
Um, On to our next question now. What advice would you give to educators who are just starting out and want to be truly effective? And certainly, I'm sure there are many here that want to be effective, and sometimes we get a bit impatient when we're not as good as we'd like to be when we start out. But of course, it is a learning process. But it'll be good to hear from you who have been recognised for your effectiveness to know what it is, what advice you would give. And I'll start this time with Kailash. So we'll start with Kailash, then Mako,
Mm.
then Anne-Marie. Thank you.
Yeah, so my advice for educators that are starting off would be, prioritize in building strong relationship, respectful relationship with the learners, and also listen actively and show empathy, and also, try and create like inclusive learning environment as well, where a learner feels valued and supported as well. And also focus on understanding each learner's strengths and also their limitation as well. And try to be flexible in your teaching approaches sometimes to meet the diverse needs of the people that you are teaching. And the other one I'd say is self-care, looking after
Ah,
yourself as well,
yeah,
and reflecting on your practice is very important as well, which I do. I always self-reflect on my practice, what I can do better, what are my own limitations as well, what I
yeah.
can't do and what I can do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot in there, isn't there?
Mm.
A lot of advice. All very important, isn't it, to be able to do all of those things. And I particularly,
Yeah.
I'm thankful for you for mentioning self-care, the importance of that for each of us as educators. Okay,
Yeah.
Kailash, let's move on to you, Michael. What about for you? What advice would you give to educators just starting out?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know because I've been there. I didn't know how to teach,
Right.
so that was pretty hard.
Yeah.
But like Kailash said, be open to who you are,
Yeah.
and yeah, support a place where people are happy to be in, and also encourage them to ask questions, because that's the first thing I do. And they all laugh at me because I do hapu wānanga, where I go and teach mums and dads how to do a muka tie to tie the pito of the baby, and they're all new. They don't know nothing. And then I go, first thing, does anyone do weaving in this? And they go, no. And then I'll do a little bit more talking. Is there any questions? They'll go, no. I go, oh, well, great, because then you all know what to do. And that's when they loosen up and become who they, themselves. And I
Yeah.
think it's a place where you got to, like, as Māori people, we're all funny sometimes, but we all know how it is to be new,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
and
lovely. Yeah.
just to be yourself and
Yeah.
encourage the learner to want to be at your side.
Oh, lovely. I love that. Encourage the learner to want to be at your side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I got lots of them.
yeah. I bet you have, Michael. I bet all three of you have. I know all
Yeah,
three of you have. Yeah.
yeah,
And that's so lovely, isn't it? That's, I think, the sign of a really dedicated educator when you know the learners want to be there. Yeah. And I
yeah,
like how you start your class. Thank you for sharing that story, because
yeah,
that is it, isn't it? Is breaking the ice in the
yeah,
first, 5 minutes. Yeah, so people feel comfortable, and then you could
yeah,
go and move on from there and have a laugh together, and laughing like you're doing it yourself, not at them. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's a
yeah.
lovely story. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
welcome.
All right, and on to you now, Anne-Marie. Thank you.
Yeah, I think knowing the learners and their context and their needs and whatever, but also knowing yourself is really important too. And knowing your strengths and your areas of development, so to speak. Knowing how to fill your tank, because often you end up, giving a lot as an educator, and you need to make sure your tank is filled. And for me, that's using my support systems, talking with people, learning, reflecting, growing, whatever, accepting my mistakes, moving on accept the mistakes, move on and learn from them. And always be curious as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, curiosity is a great part of learning. For me, you know, I just always need to think about, there's always another alternative. You know, if plan A doesn't work, I need to have plan B, or pray to think of what plan B or C or whatever is, and be flexible to change direction when needed. Thanks.
Gosh, yeah, there's lots there, isn't there? Lots you've all learned and lots you all can do now that maybe once upon a time couldn't do but have learnt. And I like how Kailash talked about self-care and you've talked about the same, your support systems, but knowing yourself too and recognizing your own skills and strengths too, I think is key. That's great. Thank you. This is so lovely hearing from you. All right. I have another prepared question and then we'll open the floor for people to share other questions about your effectiveness as educators. So this question is, if the people here today, and there's over 30 here now, which is lovely, could just take one idea from this session to try in their own teaching next week, what would you want or suggest it to be? So we'll go in the same order. So that's the idea of, well, from Kailash, but if you could take one idea to try in their teaching, what would you suggest, Kailash?
I would suggest the importance of designing learning that actively engages and challenges the learners to think critically,
Okay.
rather than simply delivering information that educators um, you know can create for learners to explore like the real life scenarios and problem solve and make decisions to reflect their understanding. And also, incorporate interactive activities like discussion, practical exercises, and encourage learners to take ownership of their own learning as well.
Right. Okay. So that's,
Yeah,
three things. Think critically, interactive activities, and ownership of learning. Is that
yeah,
grab them all there from you? Interact.
yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Thanks very much, Kailash. And what about you, Mako?
Um, no, I don't know. Because
Hmm.
I'm not them.
Yeah.
I always find that question quite hard, because everyone teaches in a different way, and the way they want to teach is the right way. That's how I
Ah,
see it.
wow. Yeah, I like that. You've got some nice sound bites. The way they want to teach is the right way.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's an interesting one, Michael, isn't it? Because it's actually acknowledging that we're all different and
yeah.
what works for me or you isn't going to work for me, kind of thing. But
But it will work for you,
yeah, yeah,
but in a different way.
yes,
Um, if you're yeah, and because it's always hard to learn to teach as a new teacher.
it is. Yeah. And even though people may tell you what to do, in many ways we have to work through that ourselves and find our own way into what
Yeah,
works that makes us um makes us feel happy with the way that we work with our learners. Yeah.
yeah. Because I can tell you this: if I have a room, not many Maori, but a lot of non-Maori, I find it hard to teach. That's me. But if
Yeah.
I'm in a room with a lot of Maori and not much non-Maori, I'm fine.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
so it's because I'm a Maori person.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see things in a different way.
yeah. Thanks.
Um,
And that's all okay. And I think thank you for your honesty because I suspect, we're all human and we will all have preferences of what we like.
yeah,
I do a lot of teaching and around the place, and sometimes I struggle if it's a really small group, as opposed to a big group and vice versa. But, it just depends, doesn't it? It will not struggle, but, it just depends on the makeup of the group.
Yeah, because the barriers are already there. The barriers are in the room, and sometimes the questions are quite hard. So you have to revert back to who you are, and the way you teach is how I see it. It's the right way, and everyone, because I have taught a group like that, and everyone has been great. I
Yeah,
don't know why I was worried about.
yeah.
And that's the thing. If you're worried, but don't worry about it, because the way you teach is right, because everyone's going to love what you do.
Yeah. And like I think Anne Marie said earlier, if we're our own self, our true self,
Mm.
then it works and it is even better because certainly for me in my teaching career, I followed a very strong, when I first started working at the women's prison, I followed a very strong, capable educator with a lot of experience, and I was very new and lacking in confidence and inexperienced, and I thought I had to be like her. Uh, and it was really hard, but then I found my own voice and it was okay. But it did
Yeah.
take a long time to trust that.
Mm.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Because we were different. Yeah.
yeah, because I grew up with all Māori teachers
Right.
from the start to the finish of my school life. So
Wow.
I never had no Pākehā teachers at
Wow. That's
all.
pretty special, isn't it? Pretty rare, would
Well,
it be, Michael?
it was different,
Yeah.
but it was quite different because you can get a clip around the ear from them.
Yes.
So, and it's because of them, the teachers I had when I was little, the confidence I had when I
Yeah.
left school.
Isn't that lovely? Yeah.
Mm. They
It's
were they were worth it.
Yeah. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thanks, Michael. And finally to you, Emery. What about for you?
Yeah, one of the things I thought about was, taking some time before I start working with someone, just to say karakia or take a few breaths or just pause to get myself in the right place, because sometimes I've been really really busy beforehand, and I need to just stop and focus before I see someone, and then afterwards as well,
Right.
to take
Okay.
some time to pause and reflect, and yeah, just take some breaths to learn from the session while it's still fresh in my mind. And I don't always do this, but
Right.
I know that when I do, I feel so much better
Yeah, for
to be
sure.
in the right place
Yeah.
for the session. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so that's two little tips there, isn't it, that people could do straight away, is just to consciously make themselves have that time before and afterwards. Yeah. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, you three, so much. I'll just hand over to our people here, participants here, and invite you to ask any questions of members of the panel. You've had the pleasure of hearing from the three of them, who come from different areas in the country and come from different adult teaching experiences. What questions would you like to ask them, please? Who would like to start? Viv, you have one there. Thank you.
So the partai is around effective ways to wrap up a session of workshops or sessions. They deliver the sessions, often 5 to 6 2-hour sessions, and develop strong relationships. Then suddenly it's the final session and they find them that wrapping it up is a bit tricky. So any ideas for our tutors on wrapping up the final session in a series?
That's a great question. Thank you so much, Mary, and glad you wrote it because there's quite a lot in that question. But good to hear from the panel about what you think. Who would like to start? No one?
I will.
Thanks,
Um,
Mako.
Wrapping up is usually done before the wrap up time, and because that way it gives the rest of the class time to do what they they want to finish off, or they could leave it for another day, or they could be helped to finish. So by the time it comes to the end of the workshop, then they all know they have to pack up.
Okay, yeah, so that's really clear when relating to making items, isn't it? They know
Yeah.
they have to wrap up. Yeah, thank you. Anything to add, Kailash, from you?
Also, like self-reflection, like reflecting on the session is a good way to, close off a session as well. That's how I sometimes do it. Like what went well, what didn't go well, what we can do better, and then slowly wrapping off the session as well.
Yeah, yeah, cool, thank you. So a bit of a process there with wrapping up.
Mm.
Good, thank you. And Anne-Marie, what about for you?
For me, it's sometimes, sometimes people do a round at the end and hear from each person about what they're taking away or whatever. But sometimes people are not confident, depending on the size of the group, to speak in the group. And sometimes pairs or little groups where people talk it through with a couple of peers about what they've learned or they're taking. But some kind of reflection and evaluation process is, I think, really valuable for people.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. That's great. And thanks for that question, Mary. I might answer it myself if I can too. In that, I think it is certainly good to think about the end at the beginning. And I think that's sometimes the challenge is that we often don't think about the wrap up until we get there and we don't have enough time.
Mhm.
Like sometimes happens in these sessions. So I think the planning of the wrap up is key, and maybe even by asking in the first session, how would you like to wrap up this course? Could be a good way to start. Um, people might decide they want to all go out for lunch together or something. You never know, or coffee, or just for a walk or something together. So but I think having a process or something that you can offer, like the three educators have talked about, is really useful too, like having a round or self-reflection or, making it clear for people to stop doing what they're doing. I think that will help. So hopefully that's useful for you, Mary. So your head nodding there. Great, thanks. Any other partai? Yes, Viv.
What is one of the most rewarding teaching experiences you have had?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
that's a
lovely
big one.
question. That's a lovely question. Who would like to start? Have you got one straight away? Any of you? You must have, Mako, I can tell.
Yeah, I have many, but
Yeah.
one is seeing the person who has finished her cloak, and it took a year, 2 years. The
Wow.
the it's her whole body. You can just tell by the way she looks, the tears coming out. And the thing is, I said to her, it's what you've done, and now look at it. And so that tells me heaps.
Doesn't it? That's a
Yeah,
beautiful story. Yeah, it must be
yeah,
so lovely for you to
it is.
see those cloaks in your community too being worn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thanks so much, Mako. Anyone else?
Yeah, well, I'm working with a young man at the moment, and we've only had a couple of sessions, but he's had several aha moments in the sessions of kind of putting things together. And yeah, it's just really he goes away with a big grin on his face, and has some strategies to use in his life, and yeah, he has a lot of awareness and a willingness to make changes, and he's doing that, which is very inspiring and enjoyable.
That's lovely too, isn't it? I love that. Yeah, those aha moments are really special. That's great. Thanks, Anne-Marie. And finally to you, Kailash.
I think I've got lots, it's just amazing seeing people graduate, getting that certificate and feeling so proud, of all the achievements as well. It's also beneficial for their, moving forward as well and doing something better, for themselves and for their communities as well. So it's really rewarding.
Yeah, it would be
Like, yeah.
rewarding. Yeah.
Mm.
And to see them progress like that. Yeah. It's
Yes.
always it's one of the pleasures, most pleasures of the job, isn't it? To see the success that our learners have over the years. As someone comes to join the class, not from the first day, but the middle of the course, how would you make him or her comfortable? It's always tricky, isn't it?
Mm.
How would you do that?
Oh, it was last week,
Yeah.
and a new person came to the Kaumatua hui, and she wanted to do tukutuku. So I had already given something to someone else. So I asked her first if I could have it back so I could give it to this other person, and she agreed. But I didn't do it in front of everyone. I just went up to her and asked. And to replace that, I said I'd bring her one next week. So this week I will take her one back.
Right.
And now we're nearly to the end of the tukutuku the panel, and she's actually just started. So she's been pretty good. She's caught up,
That's
and
great.
yeah, because we've all helped her to do it. So
Oh, that's the
yeah,
key, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Helping her
I
as
don't
well.
mind. I don't mind that, but if you're teaching from a book, it's a different story.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. So thank you so much, Michael, for your context. What do you do, Anne-Marie?
I think it's if you hear beforehand someone's new coming is kind of try and get them to come a bit early and introduce them to some of the people in the course, and make sure you have the handouts or whatever material has been distributed already, and that they get those, and just maybe buddying them up with someone that you know would be really supportive and helpful to them. They can sit next to them, someone who's going to fill them in where there's any gaps or things that they need to catch up on, and just not kind of focusing on them, but just
Yeah.
having a way to subtly include them,
Yeah.
and hear from them and really encourage them to participate as fully as they can. Yeah.
Yeah. That's some really good practical advice there. Thank you, Anne-Marie. And finally to you, Kailash.
Um, providing them with like partial care support, like just helping them catch up. And I agree with Anne-Marie, buddying them up and try and be inclusive. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think very similar to what Anne-Marie said.
Nice. Thank you so much, Kailash. Can I just say on behalf of ACE Aotearoa, thank you so much, Michael. Thank you, Anne-Marie, and thank you, Kailash.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Jennifer.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your skills, and thank you for sharing so generously all about your effectiveness as successful adult educators. My apologies for my camera challenges as I move from a laptop camera to a plugged-in one. I hope it wasn't distracting. But thank you again, everyone, for being here Tuesday afternoon. And I wish you all a happy week, the rest of the week. And feel free to join in with our karakia whakamutunga. Me karakia tātou, kua mutu a mātou mahi, mō tēnei wā, manakitia mai mātou katoa, o mātou hoa, o mātou whānau, ao ki te rangi.